Mm. Well, normally on a Saturday, I try to get up at around 8 or 9 in the morning and rush over to Starbucks to do my highly ignored stream. But today, I just couldn't do it. I I had a lot of thoughts, a lot of things that were just kind of running through my mind while I was trying to go to sleep a few moments ago, or I guess a few minutes ago, and I don't think I'll be able to go to sleep. I'm actually looking at my alarm right now. I had it set for 9 o'clock, but I don't think it's something I'll be able to meet. I guess we can start this off with probably the lightest topic. I've been playing Dead by Daylight again for the first time, at least regularly, in about a year. And one of the reasons I stopped playing it altogether was because they did this massive update, which, to their credit, really improved the graphics. But they ended up upsetting a lot of people because in doing this graphical update for some reason that I've still quite not been able to figure out, they decided to remove, or I guess I should say delete, several characters that were already in the game. So several of the killers and the survivors that came from the same chapters. And this very much upset me because they've actually added at least one of those back. But since they're adding it back, you have to pay for it again. And infamously, I remember when they lost the license to Stranger Things, they had put up this big thing of, oh, you need to go and get this stuff because after this you won't be able to get it. And then I got the two characters and the Demogorgon the Killer, and it's like I got this set of these two survivors and this killer just so that a year could pass and now I can't play as any of them, not because I didn't get them, but because of a graphical update. And just to show you how insane that is, the actual main version of the game um, has gotten rid of the Stranger Things license too, but the people who bought the Stranger Things license can still use those survivors and that killer. So what I'm conveying is the license was lost on both the mobile and the regular version of the game. But if you had the mobile version of the game, you were double screwed because even if you bought it, you still couldn't use them after they did the update. And unless they get the license back, you never will. But I've been playing the game, and it's interesting because it's like for a time I was starting to kind of think. I said, "Hey, I'm having a decent, fun little interaction with this." I started to wonder, why did I stop playing this? Because it'd been so long. And I can honestly say, after playing dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of killer matches, I realized that one of the factors that caused me to stop playing it, besides the update and losing all the different characters I liked, um, was the sweat squads. They have teams in this game that make me want to never turn it on again. Um, Now, for those who've never played, I've explained before, if you're the killer, you have to stop these four survivors from finishing, powering up the five generators, and usually while you chase one, the other survivors can all go and do generators. Now, a lot of times in solo queue, when I because they also, when they did the update, deleted my whole friend list on everybody else, so just I don't even know anybody on that game anymore. But a lot of times in solo queue, I would get paired with these random survivors who would just waste time. Like they wouldn't do anything; they would just wander around the map and maybe get knocked down by the killer before we did one generator. So that made me not want to play Survivor anymore. And true to form, in the last 2 or 3 weeks of playing this game, more than any other point this year, I have only played this killer because I don't have any friends on there anymore. And these sweat squads, when you start a match, it typically goes like this: you find one survivor, and after you chase them for maybe 2 minutes, it could be a minute and a half, it could be 2 minutes, some short amount of time that's less than 3 minutes. you will hear before you even get them on the hook, or at the same time that you get them on the hook, 2 to 3 generators go off. This basically means that you have to start. You're left with a few options. You either can slug, which is where you knock people down without actually sticking them on hook. Some people see this as very effective because it means you save more time. Like it's a trade off where it saves more time, but it also means survivors can all like come back together if they play their cards right. Um, and it basically turned into this thing where every match became sweaty, where you chase one survivor maybe for a little bit too long, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then 2 to 3 generators go off, and then you try to like go after multiple people at once to cut your losses. Then after they power the last 2 generators, because of course they do, um, you try to get that. I use no edits, this feature where once all the generators are done, you can knock people down in one hit unless they cleanse the totem that you have. And these survivors are such like cocky little jerks that they do this thing of when they open the gate, they will sit. It's so funny. They'll sit inside the gate because they want you to see them leave, and it's like they they think they're hot stuff, right? So that's why they do the generators really quickly and try to like show off, like, look, I'm leaving. You can't do anything about it. But then they're cowardly too because they make sure to only signal for you to come and stare at their backside as they leave when they're all the way in the gate, because they know that some killers can actually take them out in one hit depending on what move they have. So it's just this really interesting thing where a lot of times I'll have these games where, like I said, it starts and in 2 to 3 minutes, more than half of the generators are done, and I get to chase and hook maybe a person to 3 people, sometimes no one at all, before they finish all the generators. And then trying to stop them from leaving is another fiasco because there's 2 doors, and a lot of maps have the doors very far apart from each other. And like I said, that's cool for 1 match a day, maybe 2 matches a day. But if I play 15, 20 matches and like 17 or 18 of them are like this to some degree or another, I just get burnt out. Like, and it's a perspective that a lot of people don't understand because most people play as survivor. You get in a little group of 4 people and you just you get chased by the hooker at by the killer at some point, get put on the hook at some point, and then it gets siphoned off to somebody else. But I'm very serious when I say that it's difficult to play a game like that for any continuous amount of time, because every time I think I'm getting better with one particular killer or just the game in general, like I'll take out a whole team. Out the next game, you might get 2 kills if you're lucky, 1 kill, um, and these teams are so organized. You knock one person down, they go and crawl over to where there's a pallet. So if you pick them up, their friend knows to hit you with the thing, which will make it to where they get knocked out of your hand and they're back up on their feet. Or you pick them up and somebody is crouched in a corner with a flashlight. It just like I said, when every match is like that, the game loses a lot of its charm, and I guess my interest in playing it hits an all-time low because there's just too little to differentiate the matches. They're too similar to each other for me to really feel like I'm actually playing, different people. Like when all the survivors have the same strategy of the second the match starts, let's all run to 2 to 3 different generators. One person gets chased by the killer for a minute and a half, and then by the time that person gets taken down, we have most of them done. And then the killer can, what are they going to do? Are they going to chase that same person again and try to tunnel them out of the match, or get rid of the? Oh, and that's another thing we haven't talked about, the survivor playbook, where I kid you not, I had a match where someone was speed hacking, so they can move around at some speed that isn't even possible unless you're literally cheating. And I said, okay, well, I can't catch this person, so I'll just try to get the 3 teammates. And one of the teammates that I took out, the only one I took out because the speed hacker helped one of them escape, um, said I was like this big, massive tunneler. I was some kind of like insult about me. And it was like, it's crazy that because I'm looking in the end game chat, that's another feature they thought was worth including before there wasn't one. And the guy that I had on the hook who was saved by the speed hacker is like praising him as if he was a god among many, saying, "Oh, send me a friend request. I thanks for saving me." Just making him out to be this big hero. And I'm thinking to myself, how crazy is it that I just had a match where I played against someone who is literally cheating, who is literally hacking the game, and the teammates want me to the people that are on the opposing team are one of them is more upset with me for a strategy I used that there's no rule against, uh, than the person who's actually cheating. So I'm not allowed to tunnel to get one person out the match so it can be a little less of a sweaty game, but they're allowed to cheat and pallet stun and flashlight and general. I mean, like I said, survivors are just they suck the fun out of that game to excessive levels. Like I might some days only play two matches and then just be burnt out. It's too repetitive. All the teams are the same, especially if you get a top rank. I'm a rank 4 for killer, and every team has been like this. They're all extremely sweaty, all trying to finish the match before it even starts. They all and the ego on these people is out of this world. I mean, so much teabagging, so much bragging. Like I saw a guy when I took out two of his teammates, he put Noed for the win or something. And I was thinking to myself, you play with a team where you bring toolboxes, which is meant to make gen progress go faster. You play with a team that brings med kits so everybody can heal themselves, right? So they don't have to rely on their teammates to do that for them. And you're gonna like get try to, I guess, make fun of me for again using a perk when this is literally what they all use. They all use perks. They all use these different features that are meant to give them some leg up over on their opponents. Um, and like I said, it's just interesting to me how a lot of those survivors really think you're supposed to play by a certain set of rules that they've created in their head. Like they think of you as an extension of themselves. Like your main goal as the killer is to play the way that they want. That's why the only way I can make that game fun for myself is if I just say, okay, you know what? I can't win any of these matches anymore. Maybe I'll take out one person, two people, and that's about it. These teams are just too sweaty. Uh, I mean, even attempting to play these seriously has just put me kind of at a loss for words. I'm astonished that with the game that apparently so many people play, all the players for the survivor side all play the same. Like even back when I was mainly playing as a survivor, there were killers that tunneled, there were killers that had some kind of move they would use to get the whole team down. Just I saw different strategies with survivors. It's the same thing every game: gen rushing, toolboxes, med kits, the same or 4 to 6 perks on every member of the team. You pick somebody up, flashlight in your face. You pick somebody up, pallet stun. You pick somebody up, they use their body to block the hook. It just became so again repetitive and like I said, I understand when you play in these games, there's people that play in teams, there's people that play whatever. But when every single match is like that, who wants to play the game anymore? Like I might literally just start uploading DBD matches, and I won't even do it like I did before, where I would like sit there and record the audio after. Like I'll record the audio as I'm playing just to show you how frustrating this can get. I mean, they don't want you to have anything. If you try to hook somebody, even though you have to hook somebody 3 times to get them out the match, they try to stop you by flashlighting, getting in front of the hook. Um, and a lot of times, if you try to stop progression on the generator, there's another three being done on the other side of the map because a lot of these maps have these extremely large terrains where outside of a few killers, you just can't get to these things fast enough. They're, especially when they're using the toolkits and our two or three of them are on one generator. It's impossible. I I know Akatsuki Merchant said hello to me. I can already hear Gems comment. Not, well, I shouldn't say here because it's written, but I can already see Gems comment. Oh, you were streaming too early. Like I said, I'm not about to sit here and try to will myself to go to sleep at 3 and then attempt to get up at 9 or 10. You know, it's just I've been stretching myself way too far. I just got tired of every single Saturday. It's the same thing. Like last Friday, excuse me. I went to the market and picked stuff up, and I normally never go to the market on Friday, but that was just because on like this past Saturday, I just wanted to go up, get the stuff, and then come right back. You know, go back to the place. Like no series of trips, just one trip, and then right back. This is why I only play DVD with friends because we agree to no pallet stunning, no flashlight spamming, and well, yeah, but you understand if I'm playing as killer, I have no control over what 4 survivors I go against. So if every single match is a different team that does the exact same thing as the team before it, there's not much I can really do there other than just not play the game or play it in some manner that is not atypical of what they would like, which then leads to them complaining. Like I had someone who said when I was face camping, which I only did after I only had one. They only had one generator to do, so it's like I don't have enough time to try to stop all 4 of these people from doing a generator. The guy in the replies, or I guess in the end game chat, said that he was going to report me for uh, inactivity, and I'm like, it's it's crazy to me. Again, as I said before, that survivors can do all types of stuff to stop you from winning. But if you do anything that is not part of their playbook or their wishes, their desires, etc., it, it's crybaby time. It's tears. I mean, some of these matches, if you like, I really hated that when they updated the game, they put the end game chat because I know from the regular DB that the end game chat can turn into people just being jerks and then writing like nasty stuff to someone that destroyed them. But it's crazy to me that you would threaten someone who played the game in a way to where they're trying to win. Like I don't start the match off hooking somebody and then sitting in front of them for, you know, however long it takes for the hook time to run out. That was a strategy I employed because they're going so fast. I can't just to get at least one win, one victory. I'm trying to make sure I can secure this defeat. But like I said, it's something that's reactionary. It's not the match doesn't just start with them getting put on the hook and I stay there. It's oh, so they can play cheap and exploitive, but when you do it, it's a problem with a bunch of hypocritical babies. Yeah, because again, survivors think you're supposed to play the game the way they want, and if you play, if like I said, if I went up to them and I said, "Hey guys, please don't flashlight me and don't pallet stun and don't block the hook and by the way, can you take a little bit longer when you do generators and you know maybe let me put one of you on the hook per generator." No one would agree to that. No one would say we're going to give you a break. Oh, you haven't been able to take out a whole team out of the last 10 matches you've played because we're all sweaty. Well, you know what? We're not getting you any breaks. No, they would never agree to a proposal like that, and they shouldn't. Because, like I said, the game is not meant for one side to capitulate to the other. But the survivors really think that you're just supposed to sit there and just do whatever they want. It's sad. The point of the killer role is to kill the survivors. Are you supposed to play to lose? I actually have had a couple of games where depending on how hard the team was and how close the victory was, I do sometimes let the last survivor go. Oh, but I'm not kidding, man. Some of those teams, they really make me not even want to play the game anymore. Like they can just play with bots. I just don't have fun with them. Like, and again, I used to get mad enough to where I would just sit the game down and like not even, you know, look at it. But now I genuinely try as hard as I can all the way up until the end But it's just like when every game is the same flashlight, palette stunning, um, hook blocking, you know, gen rushing affair. It's just hard to get excited. It really is. Like it's very difficult. Hardcore meta exploiters always take the fun out of any multiplayer game, and it's especially bad when the game doesn't punish this type of gameplay. Well, that's why I said the game is survivor sided. It's all geared towards people who play as survivors. This is why they have all these perks where when one of them gets put on hook, they can take themselves off hook. When one of them gets put on the floor, they can pick themselves off the floor. When you knock one of them down, another one can shine something in your face. I mean, the whole game is geared towards them. Like everything is in their favor. No, I was starting to stream off with this topic because we're gonna get into some more serious stuff as we progress. I had I think I mentioned before, April was the worst month of the year for me because it was this nonstop back and forth of applying for jobs, like just going back and forth from, you know, not city to city, but just, it was really tedious. It was just tiring, like getting up every day and calling this place, answering the phone from here, driving over there. And at the end of it, that one relative did this, and I walked out that door, and then we made this, compromise almost a month later. And here we are, several months removed from that. And sometimes I do get burnt out with applying for things because it really does feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel, like just running in circles. But I have to tell you, I earlier this week, I think I applied for maybe 6 positions, and one of them responded to me. It was for some kind of analysis, some stupid. But anyways, it's on a website where I've been able to get places to actually talk to me before, so I figured I'd give them like a chance. They send me a message at 3 in the morning on a weekday, telling me about 2 times that they have for the interviews that they're scheduling. Now I respond back at about 9 or 10 o'clock because I'm asleep when they send this, and they respond back by telling me, "Oh, these times been taken. I'm gonna have to look for another time for them to call you." This is already weird because keep in mind, I think when a job sends you some type of message at a very weird hour of the night, they should give you enough courtesy to accept the idea that this person probably is not online right now. Like maybe we can give them a few hours to write something back. So to get a message at a time where it's reasonable to assume I wouldn't have been up, uh, and then like after you respond, they basically slam the door in your face. Just it was obnoxious. But after this happens, I go and receive a message from them later on in the day, and they're like, "Oh, we have new times for you to be able to interview us." I'm like, "Okay, okay, that's not something I'm against doing. I'll talk to them." So later on in the day, um, you know, they tell me, "Okay, we're going to get a call tomorrow at this time in the morning at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, and this number is going to call you." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I sit there. It's about 10 in the morning. I put all my stuff away. I'm getting ready for this interview. They're going to call me. 11 o'clock passes, no call. 11:05 passes, no call. 11:10 passes, no call. And then at 11, it's like 11:13, 11:14. I say, "Okay, guys, you said somebody was going to call me. I have received not a single ring." And I made sure that I had my phone right next to me. I made sure that whatever number it was, I saved it. so they could, try to contact me. And I, the response they give me is, "Thanks so much for letting me know. Someone will be reaching out to you soon." That was at 11 a.m. yesterday morning. It has been over 15 hours. Still no reaching out. Still no soon contact, anything like that. And look, that's not the first time I've had some place schedule an interview with me, and then it went and turned into nothing. But what I find so irritating is I always think about just the people on this website, right? And like people in real life, oh, you don't want to work, you're lazy. It's like I can't get over the irony of here's a person that applies for work, and when an employer says, "Hey, I want to interview you at this time," you're there, you're ready, right, to talk to them, and they stand you up, but because their livelihood is not staked on this, they don't lose anything. It's you that has to pay the price for their refusal to actually meet up with the schedule that they said they wanted to keep or to have with you, rather. It's you that has to bear the burden of blame and shoulder the responsibility of their decision to not call you at the time that they said they would. And I was like, man, because I really, I'll never not believe I didn't try, especially after April, where I was having, in some cases, 4 to 5 interviews a day. But it's like I just got so burnt out, and I was just I was just thinking about how you have jobs, right, that people know next to nothing about. They don't know what they do on a day-to-day basis. They don't know how many people they let go of or get rid of month after month, week after week. And here you are with every single job. Maybe it's not your first choice, maybe it's not your 15th choice, but you're trying, you're open to it, and you just can't get hired. You just can't get one of them to even give you a chance. It doesn't matter if you show up to the interview on time. It doesn't matter how much you're available. It doesn't matter even if you have background experience and the type of stuff that they want. If they decide for whatever reason to not move forward with you, you're screwed. Doomed to a continued existence of applying for more jobs aren't going to hire you, and having a bunch of people who've never even met you, and in some cases have but don't do anything to assist you, stick their finger up in your face and tell you that it's your fault. I think it's hilarious. Like sometimes I look at old text messages I have with that relative that was behind the homeless saga, and I was thinking about that person would blow smoke up my behind and talk about, oh, I'll help you get a job, I'll help you get a job, and then all their help consists of is just sending random flyers for various, including stuff I can't even apply for because I'm like literally not qualified for it. And then after a certain amount of time, they just stop doing it. And it's like it's crazy how everyone that says they're going to help either does it for a little bit or they do like the most bare minimum minute stuff. Like it it's fun. It's also kind of comedic that people talk about pills and, oh, you swallowed this pill and you're so depressed. I was like, I look at patterns. I look at things where there's like a certain rhythm to it. Like you can see stuff just going the same way over and over. And I can say with complete sincerity that whether I apply for another 5 jobs this year, another 15, 50, 100, 200, I'm going to be sitting right here unemployed for the rest of the year. I already know. Like it's not hard to look at a pattern and draw a conclusion based off of it, because we're getting to a point where not only are places not even hiring and then firing, they won't even like sit down and pretend to care about bringing you on board. Like we can't even get them to do an interview now. And then even when they say they'll do an interview, they completely stand you up. I'm not even joking. Like I try so hard to remain calm, but it's difficult to not just go off on these people because they're playing with your life. It doesn't matter to them if you can't feed yourself or take care of yourself. They don't give, any hoot about your well-being. Like I get that, but it's gotten even worse because now we can't even get them to pretend that they're interested in hiring somebody. Like they just they just fill out text messages and all types of other BS. But as far as actually sitting down with you, okay, why should we hire you? What can you bring to our company? Are you going to be available for this? They don't even do that anymore. And I was just thinking about, my friend this year made two remarks that really pissed me off. Um, One of them was the "there's more to life than politics" nonsense, and I explained before that in the mundane existence, you have these people that they don't really care about anything besides just existing, just self-preservation. And the other part of it was where I was talking about how I had this, relative that was trying to charge me half a thousand a month, and their nonsense line was like, I see you ordering this, so how are you able to order this, but you can't afford to give me, just like this nonsense, weird counting of how much stuff somebody orders online, and like, completely not factoring in the fact that the things you get online cost significantly less than the amount that they're trying to squeeze out of you every month. But my friend, in response to hearing this, was like, "Well, I see where they're coming from because if they see you ordering stuff, then they're gonna start." And I'm like, "Dude, because I've said before, I don't care who gets mad. Sometimes it's not the business or the place of a person who calls themselves the friend of someone else to give their supposed honest opinion. I truly believe that. I think sometimes when you're friends with someone, you should attempt to comfort them. And again, there's some things that are just extreme, right? Like if I had a friend who said they wanted to do something, you know, violent, I wouldn't encourage that, or I would think I would say something against it. But when someone is telling you just how they feel about like the way they're being treated by the people they live with or the people that they have to deal with every day, I don't think it's your place to put yourself in the shoes of the people making them feel bad or feel like they're boxed in or whatever, when you're speaking to them. Because after all, if there was any belief by that person you're talking to that the people you're putting yourself in the shoes of could see their perspective, they would go and talk to those people instead of you about this in the first place. So I was just so disgusted by this remark for that reason. But also, it's like, isn't it sad? Because I did my "we can't go back" video, and I was talking about like I had all these different people that I cared about just die in this like 5 year period. It's like, I like how no one ever thinks that maybe when this person goes and they get a movie, or I don't know, like an article of clothing, whatever, maybe that's one of the few things that they still have that kind of brings them like a little bit of joy, after being deprived of all the people they cared about thanks to premature deaths and illnesses that came out of nowhere. Maybe this is like something that they do as a you know little tiny bit of happiness in a perpetual cycle of just despair and disillusion and just overall crap. But they don't think of it that way. It's just, you're doing this thing that doesn't positively impact us, so we're going to throw it back in your face to try to make you feel bad about something that we should be able to do ourselves. It was weird. The whole thing was weird, and it was even weirder that he tried to take the position of those people, because like I said, I just don't think it's the place of friends to try to like do the whole, "Oh, this is my honest opinion on this thing." I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I like I'm not even and again I'm making trying to make sure I cover my bases here. Um I just don't think there are some situations where a person who's not in a position to do something about it should give what, like an opinion that is antithetical or opposite of the person they're talking. Because sometimes, again, a person might come to you and confide something about how they feel, and then after hearing you basically side with their oppressors or those that are making them feel bad, they might not want to trust you or talk to you about those types of things again. You might lose them because of your decision to, from their perspective, side with the people that are making them not feel good. So it's just one of those things where I was really frustrated by that response, like that retort, because I'm very serious and I say there are very few things that make me happy, and that's like one of them, like one of the few, right? Oh, new book, you got a new whatever, like so, uh, whatever. And that's why I said I felt as if we did this story about all the men that are like offing themselves, and like I said, I would never come on here and try to do anything to like get sympathy. I would just do it. I wouldn't make a video or stream like announcing it or hinting at it. But one of the reasons why I think there's such a big gap when it comes to males and females that do this is because so often in just like on a day-to-day basis, you have these like people and these different things. Because I've said before, depression a lot of times gets lumped with mental illness, or it's like seen as this like mental disorder. Like, why does this person feel this way? And that's why people will talk about therapy. They talk about taking pills and all these little. But I said, the reality is the stuff I feel depressed over. There is no medical cure to. Like, someone giving me a pill is not going to make me forget I'm unemployed perpetually. Someone sitting down with me and calling themselves my therapist is not going to make me, suddenly not miss the three people that I think of every single day. Um, it's just a reality that there's just some stuff that is going to stick unless it gets resolved. In some cases, it can't be. And like I said, when you try to go up to one of these people and tell them about how you feel, how you truly feel, like what stuff is bothering you and why it's bothering you, why is this like eating away at you and making you, not happy, and all they can do is just give platitudes. Oh, you'll feel better eventually. Oh, at some job is going to hire you, even though we've already established that getting hired is not happily ever after because these jobs will get rid of people in 2 weeks of hiring them. But yeah, eventually things will look up. But it just doesn't seem that way. It's just like I said, it's like being on a hamster wheel. I almost want to rename the stream that, because as I was laying down like an hour ago, I was just thinking to myself, here I am trying to go to bed earlier than I usually do, right? Like if this were, Saturday going into Sunday, I would stay up until 3 or 4 or even sometimes 6 just to like go up and get a walk in the morning because that's when nobody's out, so they can't bother you, or I guess bother me rather. And I'm like, isn't it sad that I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna show up at whatever this place is in this hot, blazing sun around a bunch of people that are going to play music that could get me in trouble with this site, around a bunch of people that could talk over what I'm saying, which actually did happen about a week or two ago. And at the end of all of this stuff I'm doing, just to sit here and talk to people who might not even show up for 2 hours, I'm going to then be expected to go run some errands and go pick this. And I just said, man, this is so lame. Like, I just got tired of it because it's the same thing every day. Like, you have this series of objectives, and I'm telling you, like, sometimes I'll have like an idea for a video and I'll start writing like a piece of it, right? And then I can't get any further with it. um Sometimes I'll have a drawing I'm doing and I'll draw like a piece of it, and I just can't get any further with it. Happens a lot, just starting stuff and never being able to finish it, or it just doesn't measure up to what you would like to see. It's irritating. That's all I can say. I was actually sitting here and I was just thinking about, like, wanting to do documentaries, and I said, it's so sad how, like, I'll sit here and have a script and I'll work on it for days, and, like, I'm not even kidding. I always think of how, like, all the effort for so little. Like, yeah, I'm getting a bump in views as of late, but it's just frustrating that I always have that wonder of, are people going to watch this? Are they going to ignore it like they usually did before? It's like I said, the worst thing out of this whole just saga is having this person come to me yesterday talking about, oh, my this thing went up and I'm gonna need this much a month, and on top of the 300 you're already paying. I'm just like, god damn. Like, I'm not even trying to make myself sound as if I'm some person that's well acquainted with dozens and dozens of people, but I'm telling you, I've never heard of someone being unemployed but like being expected to pay almost $400 every month on top of, again, expenses related to food, gas. I'm like, what? But see, that's why I said, like, when the homeless saga occurred, it was because I just got tired of being like just stretched too thin. Like, my arms were just being ripped off on both sides. Like, no matter what I did, it was, you need to do this, you need to pay this. Like, I had this person talking about, go and get your car washed. I'm like, dude, you don't put 1 cent of gas in this thing and you're gonna tell me, but oh god, man, like, I just got tired of constantly being stretched so far, so thin. Like, I was really laying here thinking to myself, I'm gonna go to sleep and like go to sleep at like 2, 3, right? Wake up at 9 and I know I'm gonna feel tired, and then be expected to go sit in front of some uh place I don't even like getting the food from because it costs too damn much, to go talk to a few people who might not even show up. And I feel the same way about these interviews, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped going. I'm like, these people, they have a job fair that's like a 30, 40 minute drive from where I am, and I'm like, I'm gonna waste 80 miles worth of gas to go sit up and talk to some douchebags who, again, we can already ascertain are probably not going to hire me, or if they do, it's going to be a job I have for like 2 weeks, and then I'm out the door again, right back to the same old cycle of apply here, apply there, apply every damn where, and then having the same group of people who don't help whatsoever, by the way, all sticking their finger in my face and saying that I messed it up and I botched it and it's all my fault, and just it's man, I that's why I said I don't know how much longer I can put up with this stuff. I was telling my friend about how I had this one idea for a show where there's like a guy who's married to two different women, and then it's like this thing where when he's not with one, he's with the other, and just kind of seeing like what kind of suspense comes out of a story where someone has two significant others. And he was like, oh, there's shows like that. He couldn't name any of them because, of course not. And I said, well, I mean, that's a I guess I'll put it this way: when you have an idea as like basic as that, um and to have someone that shoots it down or tries to say, "Oh, it's already been done before," and even bother, it just kind of like really annoys me because, again, there's a lot of stories that if you were to just take them at their basic premise, they sound similar to each other, but they're not actually the same thing. Like, what happens in a superhero movie? Oh, there's a hero who sometimes has an origin and a villain who sometimes has an origin, and they fight, and the good guy beats the bad guy, and that's it. It's like that's literally what basically all superhero movies are. It doesn't mean they're all the same, but like that basic skeleton. I guess I'm kind of annoyed by that comment so much because he's like poo-pooing on a very basic premise that would need fleshing out before I would even go anywhere with it, but also because um I just I think a lot of writers fall into a trap where they try to make stories that are unique from other ones, sometimes at the expense of just telling a good story. Like, I kind of try to be humble when I write something. I don't feel as if I'm writing some major groundbreaking tale that has characters who have never been done before. I'll try to write some that are appealing or whatever, but as far as like I'm always mindful that when I write something, there's probably a story where this has been attempted before, done before, etc. And the main differences usually come from some kind of factor that might be unique or the way it's presented. Because, like I said, a story isn't just its premise; it's the actual tale. It's I mean, if I describe what happens in a book in 10 sentences, it's not the same as reading the book. I don't know, man. I said before, a lot of people are anti everything, and that was me talking about how people will hear an idea for something, know next to nothing about it, and then just be like, don't bother. No, don't try." So I guess that's three comments he made this year that irritated me. That one was probably the least offensive because I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to do, but it's just like I said, people just need to stop being so against stuff that they barely know anything about. Man, I miss last year before September. I really do. It was nice to live somewhere where I didn't have to worry about, they want me to pay this much by the end of the month, and they're gonna ask me for a loan on this and expect me to. I just got like, I'm really not kidding. This is going nowhere fast. It is. It's awful. It's the same thing every week with employers. They all put up these stupid ads. Oh, please join our dumb job. Please apply for it. Please, please, please. Then you apply for it, you hear nothing back, or they hire you and get rid of you after 2 weeks, or they sit you down for an interview and then that goes nowhere, right? Because they don't say anything back after that. It's all tedious. I'm tired of it. And like I said, I'm it's like I wouldn't even care that much because I accepted a long time ago that this is just how employers are, right? They, at least the ones in California, this is just what they do. It's like a game to them where they just come online and try to like make a bunch of people think that they want them or whatever. But it's like what's driving me crazy is that now we're really at this point where a lot of jobs, they don't even try to hide it anymore. Like, when I'm not joking, when I apply for stuff now, I'm fully expecting to just hear nothing back. I'm fully, because like I said, this has been going on for so long that I can't even take it seriously anymore. Like, I got to a point during that homeless saga where I didn't even like I just stopped caring. Like, I didn't care about having somewhere to stay. I didn't care about like I just, when you put so many pressures on somebody, and you don't give them the tools to succeed, right? So like you tell someone, hey, pay this much a month, but then they don't have a job ever, right? And no one helps them get a job. That person may respond by just saying, to hell with the whole system. Like, I don't have to pay this much a month. I mean, like, forget it. Just I'll just live in my, in out on the street. I like it. I wouldn't be the only person doing it after all. Like I said, everyone comes on here and they offer these quote unquote solutions, and like the people who preach this stuff don't even practice it. Like, I'll never get over the empathy eclipse stream where we have this guy, and it's always someone that I've never seen before, right? They just appear out of nowhere. It's like they're grown out of a buffoon facility. But I'll never forget, this guy comes on the stream. He starts talking about, oh, just become a dentist. And I'm like, dude, do you not understand that you have to go to school for multiple years to even start dentistry? Oh, uh, you just get the degree. Like, okay, but who's supposed to pay for that degree? And who's supposed to pay for my place while I'm going to school full time to become a, and then like he admits later on that he lives with his parents. So he's not looking for a job so he can take care of himself because he's already being taken care of by mommy and daddy. It's just so funny how people like really suggest this stuff and they act like they're saying something so groundbreaking. Like I remember someone came on that stream talking, not that stream, but on another stream talking about why don't you go join the military? I'm like, dude, 27% of the homeless people in America are veterans. Why would I sign up for something that, first of all, I have no interest in doing? Because I already said before, the U.S. military is not, it's a joke. But secondly, why would I sign up for something where, assuming I survived the experience, my chances of being homeless increased by over a quarter? Like, what sense does that make? And again, they entice a lot of people. Oh, if you join, you get this benefit. But look at all of the homeless people that are veterans. They come back from whatever they do in the military. I mean, there's a whole bunch of operations, and then they get treated worse than garbage. I've seen homeless people standing on sidewalks, missing arms and legs, and I'm supposed to want to end up with that same fate by foolishly thinking that joining the military is going to somehow improve my man. I said, yes, our system literally chews them up and spits them out. I mean, that's how Akatsuki Merchant treats me. I can't even get him to click the like button. He'll chew up the stream. He'll spit it out. He'll put on a little piece of paper and just gobble it. No, I gave up on even telling people to do engagement. Like I just accepted people are only going to comment if they want to. They're only going to like stuff if they want to. They're only going to share stuff if they want to. I don't even ask people to subscribe. I just the whole idea or process of even trying to get big on here I just abandoned. I said this is going nowhere. That's one of the reasons why I'm not really afraid as a quote unquote smaller channel to talk trash to the ones that have 100,000, a million, or whatever. Because I like when you fully believe that you're as good as you're ever going to get, as far as this is the highest my sub count will ever be. At most, I'll maybe be able to get 100 views a video. That's it. You don't care anymore. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'll talk about this person. I guess I'll respond to that person. Because again, like, what are people going to do? Not watch my stuff? They already do that. So it doesn't matter. Any backlash you get lasts for maybe a day or 2 days, and then it's back to the same old unknown quantity that we are. Oh man, No, but people have a really warped view of depression. It's so sad because I've said before, society in its modern form messes people up. Like I refuse to believe that if looking for a job wasn't so goddamn hard, I would be depressed over not having a job. I refuse to believe that if I mean, just I don't think this is the byproduct of someone that just gets sad over anything. It's literal necessities that you're denied, and then instead of people showing sympathy to someone that clearly wants to work, right? Because that's the thing. Oh, everyone should work, but then when the person doesn't get the job, you don't say, "Damn, these employers are nuts. Why won't they hire this person? What's wrong with? Oh no, you must have done something wrong. You must have applied for jobs that were above your. I mean, it's just it's too repetitive, and it's like imagine having someone tell you to get a job, and then they actively discourage you from getting certain jobs. Like the same person that did this right back in May, there was a trucker position that was like trying to court me or whatever. They were telling me to fill out some forms and etc. And they told me not to take it. Oh, you don't have enough driving experience, and this is goofy because the place actually would have paid for me to go and get trained. Anyway, it was a stupid thing to be opposed to, but it's not stupid because you know oh, this person really cares about you and they're very worried. They couldn't give a damn. That's why when I was homeless, they contacted me the first day after that, nothing. But what drives me nuts is that like you could write that off as like an isolated thing, right? There was a company that made some kind of like I don't know if it was fast, it was a food place, right? They said, "Oh, I don't want you doing that. I don't like you working there." And I'm like, how do we get to a point where someone can, in complete sincerity, mind, it's not like this is some joke. I wish it was. It sounds like it, but someone in complete sincerity can tell you not to work multiple different types of jobs, right? That you shouldn't work these. I don't want you working these. Don't work them. And then a few months later, they're like bad mouthing you for being unemployed. Like, how does that work? Remember, it's bad to not have a job. Oh, by the way, just don't take these multiple ones that are showing interest in hiring you. There's a reason why the phrase "beggars can't be choosers" exists because it's generally agreed upon that if someone is not in a position to because like I listen, no job I get is my dream job, whether it's a cashier, whether it's sitting in a desk at some office somewhere, which I don't think I'd ever get that. It's always going to be me running around somewhere like a crazy person, all this manual labor. But no job I get is going to be my dream position, and my policy has always been the same thing. It's always first come, first serve. So whoever is showing interest, that's just who I go to. Get a job, but we'll do everything in our power to deny you of work. Get a house, but we'll do everything in our power to make you homeless. Buy necessities, but we'll make them absurdly expensive. Well, dude, it's like this is what drives me nuts. Imagine telling someone that they need to have a job, but then actively discouraging them from taking multiple jobs that show interest in them. And really, I don't even like fast food, I think is expensive, right? I've said that before, but I basically it's like this. If I didn't have to pay 300 something a month just to stay here, whether it's the $60 gas or the 60 for food every week or 50 for food every whatever, that those are prices I could mesh with. I could actually, you know, deal with at least for the long term, like for several more months. But it's just like the constant draining and squeezing, and like I said, I'm getting ready to lose it, man. I can't put up with this stuff for that much longer. I think I don't know. I can't do it. And like I said, I really try. as a content creator to put stuff up. I try to keep some level of consistency with either uploading or doing a stream. But Saturday is just the hardest day of the week for me because having to go somewhere where there's like a lot of people and a lot of noise, and then worrying about, are they going to interrupt you? Are they going to make some kind of ruckus? Are people even going to show up? I just can't get behind that stuff, man. Like, and again, I don't enjoy blowing people off, or, oh, you had Jem talk about I was streaming too early. But I mean, hell, I can't do this every week. Like, I'm sorry, but again, I'm just stretched too thin. I'm telling you, the way that people act, they think you can just knock on the door or fill out one application and then suddenly you're working somewhere. We've talked incessantly about how I've had several days where I've applied for dozens of places and just heard nothing back, or maybe two places replied, three places reply. And a lot of times the jobs you get are either too far away. They don't want you full time, which means even if you got it, you still wouldn't be able to pay for anything, right? Um, or, and this is one of the more frustrating ones, they hire you, right? So you get excited, oh man, finally nightmare's over. And they get rid of you a few weeks later to a month later. And then guess what? You're right back to square one. So I said, man, this whole employment thing is just a joke. Like I'm I wish I could say I was surprised. I really do. But I always had this feeling, even when I like made that agreement right back in May, that things were going to just keep like spiraling downward. Like there was just no good that was going to come out of the subsequent weeks or months or whatever. And again, it's like, I'm not going to lie to myself and say that this shocks me. Like I know that there are just some people in this world who are going to get screwed over. And I'm not talking about the chick stuff. I'm not talking about like subscribers. I'm talking about like just in terms of basic necessity. Like, I've seen my best friend's family. I've seen other people's that I know's family. And I've said before, when we did the story about Gen Z, but we were talking about how, like, I don't know anyone that's under 40 that lives somewhere where they're like by themselves, right? That, like, I just don't know anyone that's not middle aged or older that's able to actually afford to live somewhere alone. Um, and like I gave the example of my friend, live with their parents, doesn't have to pay any rent. And here I am with a relative, and that person goes to work. It's like, here I am as an unemployed person every single month being asked to give $300+ to this, in addition to the 200 something for food and get for like just the necessities I need just to even be able to do anything. So I said, man, I'm too tired of this. Like, I, and what drives me crazy is that they tried to make me sound nuts. I had one person who defended this stuff. Everywhere you go, you have to pay, they declared. I said, I was paying. But when you increase something by so damn much on a person that doesn't have a job, you can't expect them to sit there and keep reaching into their pocket indefinitely. Because I know for a fact, because the other person tried to like float the idea, well, what do you run out of money? If I did, they wouldn't care. They would say, first they would say, I don't believe you, and they would say, get out. That's it. That would be the full thing, and I would just be left to, I don't know. I don't even want to imagine. But they don't care. I'm no priority of theirs. That's always been like the reason why when people come online and they start acting, especially the ones that the type, the ones that show up on a stream and they write some comments about, I'm, you need to do this, and if you do that, I always laugh because it's like, do you really want me to believe that you're concerned with my well-being, person I've never seen before at all at any point in the past? Do you really want me to believe that? Individual who's never appeared on a single damn stream up to this point. You want me to believe you're concerned with my well-being? Random computer person that's going to disappear after this stream or video because that's what you guys do. You're the flavor of the month, and then you sink into your wormhole. Every time they come writing that ridiculous stuff, it's always like this. People online really love acting like they have ultimate advice. And it's very obnoxious because, like I said, what normal person who's been treated like trash by members of their own family, right, and is going to go on the internet and be like, well, these computer people who've never met me and don't even do the bare minimum of supporting me must really care. Like, who believes that? Nine times out of 10, when you actually raise the point of, hey, you guys aren't showing up, you're not doing anything that's supporting of me, you're just running your mouth, they tend to not respond to those types of, just exposés. They're like you could say to them, hey, you don't care. We know you don't care because you never show up on my stuff. When are you going to realize that not everyone who cares about you agrees with you? It's like, what does that have to do with what I just said? Like, what a non sequitur. When we did the triangle scam video and we showed the one guy, the one that, I'm forgetting his name, but I think it was like Jove or something. When we showed his stupid comments and we were like dismantling them, he didn't actually respond to what I said in the video. Like he just fumed in the comment section and tried to like be condescending, and it didn't work out too well for him. Like I said, they really think someone believes this stuff. I feel kind of bad for him. I don't even know what I'm going to do this week. Oh, yeah, I do know. Apply for some more jobs, hear nothing back. Apply for some more jobs, hear nothing back. Apply for some more jobs, hear nothing back. Apply for some more jobs, get like one or two interviews that go nowhere. Apply for some more jobs, get one or two interviews that go no. I mean, it's the same thing just repeating itself, man. And then on the first of every month, get charged $300, and then be expected to also like pay for all these other different expenses on top of that, and then like just keep doing this forever and ever. So I said, man, I'm so close. Like I can't do this. I can't. This whole like perpetual cycle of just I'm tired of it. People online try to do that too. They try to play themselves up as these snarky, witty, smarty pants when they're really just bumbling folks running their mouths, bumbling fools running their mouths. Well, I tell you, if you listen to these guys online, every last one of them is some pimp, playboy, romance genius, and that was why I said that last guy we mentioned was a real idiot, because it's like, how do you say that someone else doesn't quote unquote understand boy girl interactions, but then you're admitting that you don't even talk to women anymore, which is what the guy who doesn't understand boy girl interactions is doing. So even though they apparently don't know how to interact with a woman, they got the same result as you, the person that supposedly knows how to. And it's stupid, man. It's Honestly, with the chick stuff, the only thing I'm gonna say about that is I really tried hard to just like not ask any of them out ever again. The few I talked to, it's all platonic, and the one from last month, it really disappointed me. I don't think I've been more disappointed in in an online person, like a person I only know from the internet, in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. She really let me down, and I think some kind of video with some screenshots is in order. I'm just I don't know how anyone could even like. I still in my mind I just keep playing back to myself. It's like, okay, you met this person in July, and in 2 weeks of meeting them, they were calling you a friend, and then you have this like long voice call where they make it seem like they're interested in you or whatever, and you have another one sometime afterward, and they seem to like it. Then suddenly they start ignoring you out of nowhere. Then when you finally confront them or get them to respond, they say it's because their ex is harassing them, which of course they won't go into the details of. So like you have no idea what that even means. Harassing could be anything at this point. Then they promise that they're going to talk to you again, and after that last call, you hear exactly nothing from them. You send them multiple messages to try and get them to, you know, say something back like they did before, to no avail. So I'm very upset. That was the most disappointing interaction I've had with somebody all year long. Another waste of my, and that's why I said it just feels like everyone online, whether it's the chicks, the jobs, hell, even some people on here, like it just seems like everything is such a giant waste of time. Like you'll have an employer before someone will hire you, you'll have an employer to correspond with you sometimes for days or weeks and have you fill out stuff and get tested for this, that, or the other. And then when you start talking to some woman, you'll have her tell you that you mean so much to her, and just all the other fluff, right? And then when you're like, okay, can we? What is the next step of progression? Oh, nothing. She just stops speaking to you out of nowhere, because that's not the first time that happened. I mean, I gave the example of the woman that was her last message to me was, "I can't wait for you to hear my voice," and then like 2 3 days later, after her not saying anything, "I don't think this is going to work out. I'm glad I quit before any feelings were involved. Goodbye forever." Just I remember stuff like that because it all goes back to that same thing of like there's no purpose other than just wasting time. Like there's nothing to gain out of this other than just having more ounces of time you could spend doing something you actually like wasted by these dumb chicks. Like I've said before, everybody speaks to somebody for a purpose, right? Like you have people that you're friends with, you want to hang out with them. You have some woman you're trying to talk to because you think you're going to get a date with her. When you can't get the things you want of the people, there's no point in talking to them. There's nothing there. So I really hope that woman is gone forever, like that other one. I hope she doesn't reappear and try to talk to me and start apologizing because it might have worked the first time, right? Oh, he's harassing me, etc., etc. After that, not so lucky. I actually had another one that I sent one of my drawings to, and she didn't say anything. And I kind of like for a second I was kind of disappointed because I did like the drawing and I put some actual effort into it. But the more I talk to chicks, especially the ones I'm genuinely not romantically interested in at all, the more I realize that there's there they again they're a better idea than they are in execution. They're a better concept than thing that actually um, can be expected to go somewhere. Like they're better on paper than they are in real life. Because in real life they're pretty atrocious. They're whatever. Like they're not. they're not anything that any serious person would look at and be like, yeah, that's who I need to talk to. That's someone that I need to speak with. That's a person that I need to, you know, get things going with and interact with. Like there's people will get mad, but I'm very serious when I say that outside of when I work on a project or some other type of endeavor that has to do with a group effort, I will never platonically speak to women again. Like the experience I just had with this last one was terrible. Hours of talking to that bastard went, for nothing. Like I'm done with that. Because at least when employers waste my time, I can say, okay, you know what? People expect me to talk to these stupid pieces of trash, um, just just out of necessity. Like, hey, you want a job? You got to talk to employers. With chicks, there's no reason for me to talk to them. They don't like me. They're not interested. I mean, just I accepted a long time ago. They're this is how it is always going to be with them. They're always going to find a reason to abruptly cut you off, to not be interested in you, whether it's platonic, romantic. You're going to have a bunch of people on the internet, mixture, mostly guys and chicks too, who are going to point the finger at you, and it's going to be the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again until my eventual demise. So that's just the way these people are. They all think they're playboy, comedian, philosopher, warriors. Dude, the way these guys talk, you would think they're just drowning in women, and nothing could be further from the truth, I'm afraid. Like, I'd sooner believe in Santa than some guy that apparently is doing so well with women watching videos of how difficult it is to get with one. It doesn't make any sense. You know damn well if you were a billionaire, you're not going to go online looking up how to videos and how to make money. It's like, yeah, mission accomplished. You already know how to. Just like I don't go online looking up videos and how to draw because I'm fine with my ability in drawing. I don't feel like I mean, whatever. Like it's just if you're confident in something, you don't need to watch content associated with that with someone lacking that thing that you think is so easy to get. I'll leave it at that. Oh man. So you're trying to do a documentary is just brings back old memories. You have to make her laugh, but why? Why do I have to be a constant source of comedy? Why doesn't she have to be funny? Because she's a female. They can do whatever they want and be whatever they want. I mean, why do you think women can wear men's clothes and nobody cares, but if a guy wears women's attire, then it's like the end of the world? I mean, that's like the most obvious aspect of the gender gap when it comes to like what stuff is acceptable and what isn't. I'm not even kidding. Sometimes when I go out and I just like watch these people, I really say to myself, isn't it sad that like you can genuinely want a connection with one of them? And I'm not even kidding. Like you can be as respectful as possible. You can make the bastard laugh. You can make the bastard say that, oh, I want to spend more time with you and I care about you and you're my friend, all this fluff, right? But when it comes to something that's real, it just never materializes. And it's like when you have people in real life that you can't even get to stop staring at their stupid computer or phone all day long while you're around them, it's like, where are you supposed to meet people? I mean, if the ones in real life are so bad, you go online, and the ones online are so bad that you don't even like want to bother with anyone off of there ever again. It just seems like damned if you do, damned if you don't. No, with that woman stuff, I've heard all of it, man. Like, you're not tall, you're not funny, you're not pretty. I mean, it just never it stops being the guy's fault. Is why that stuff is just obnoxious to me. And that's really my last point about the woman stuff. It just never stops being the guy's fault. You could move mountains to impress some woman, and you still could get turned down and have people saying that if you shouldn't have done this. I'll never forget the guy that said I showed a woman too much interest, and I was like, you bastards drive me nuts. You'll get mad at me for saying, okay, I don't ask out women anymore because it's a waste of time. So I'm like, I'm not showing any interest in any of them anymore, right? But then you'll also tell me that when I approached, it was too strong. I mean, God, man, but that's why I said like all the second guessing that goes into play rather when you're trying to court one of these bastards. Like it's really not that big of a stretch to see why I don't want to talk to them anymore. If it's this hard to just get people to like respond to what's going on with them like human beings. Well, that's what the internet prides itself on doing. I mean, and sometimes it's just trolls, other times it's people who try to like posture themselves as caring about you, which in my opinion are even worse because um whenever like at least with regular trolls they're not subtle about the fact that they don't care about you and you're just like there for their amusement. But with a lot of people online, they try to make it sound like you know you're crazy, like rather they're concerned with you. Oh, are you all right? Are you okay? It's like, no, I'm not stupid. I know you don't care. We can't even get you to show up for a live stream. You want me to believe that you're concerned about the man on the screen? Are you kidding me? Must be some kind of joke. I was looking at what time this damn store opens. Mm. So right after I finish this, I can go up there. Wish I get a better angle. I'm serious. I'd rather just get like I know he was complaining about oh, you're streaming too early, but you know what, man? I can't do this every Saturday where I have to get up at 9 in the morning and when I try to get up, I don't even feel like getting up. Like if he doesn't show up for this one, then just show up for the one on Monday. I'm sick of giving it my all for nothing. Like I'm tired of it. I already know this upcoming week is going to be trash. It's going to be me applying for a bunch of jobs and hearing nothing back, or having someone get mad at me over something stupid. So you'll have to forgive me for not being excited. Tired of the internet, tired of people. I'm just sick of the whole thing, man. And God, I'm telling you, for the life of me, like I was a person who likes interacting with people, right? But I'm not even kidding. Some days I really do wish I could just find some job somewhere, right, where you clock in, you clock out after 8 hours. Maybe you're moving something, whatever, but there's like no people you talk to. And just like cut off all these different relatives and just go somewhere in complete seclusion. Like I'm not even kidding. Like what what is the point of relationships if they bring you no joy? Like you're not happy at all, like there's nothing good coming out of this. I mean, I'm serious. Like what is the purpose of them? Pull it a little bit closer. Just lean back a bit. Yeah, the I don't know, when I can't go to sleep and I have to like keep worrying about, oh no, in 3 hours I'm just gonna start doing this because, like I said, it really doesn't make a difference if two people don't show up or three people don't show up. I'm not gonna get that many views anyway, on average anyway. But yeah, the short answer is I'm just not happy. Like I'm not. It, I'm really at a breaking point with this stuff, and I think there's just too much of a burden on my back, and I can't put up with it for that much longer. You know, when you're trying to do something constructive, productive, whatever way you want to refer to it, and you feel like you have this person who's like constantly trying to squeeze something out of you, and you keep saying to them like, God, how what else do you want? What more do you want? Like, I mean, holy hell, it just never stops. Imagine somebody getting mad at you because you want to treat yourself. Like, sorry that no one around me gets me anything I want other than me. I apologize. Get mad at me because I want to go and get a book or a shirt or something. Like, go to hell. People always want you to feel bad about anything. Like, I'm just sick of it. That's the best way to put it. I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of the constant bad mouthing and, oh, you should have done this and why didn't you do that, and it's tiring. Like I'm drained to the point of excess. Like it's almost a cartoon at this point. Why didn't you do this? You say you can't afford this, but you hadn't bought that. Like, shut up. Get mad at somebody for like a few times a month getting themselves something that they enjoy. What normal person would get mad at somebody for getting themselves a book? Like it's just weird, man. I did this stream last year. It was called The Beginning of the End, and that's really what it was. Like the downward spiral started, and I tried to fight it off. I really did. I mean, I applied for jobs. All the ridiculous stuff this person had me doing back then, and even now, I still am doing it for the most part. Very few times do I just put my foot down and go, "No, this is stupid." But man, I'm telling you, at a certain point, it just becomes too much. Like I really sat here one day and I said, this is it now, right? Every month getting charged this much goddamn money, and then like no one helps you get a job, so you're just being drained, right? And then you're supposed to like not get mad or upset or feel like, you know, back off. I mean, God. And I really don't have a solution here. It just seems like this is, well my solution is going to be to say to hell with it and just leave. But God, like I wish we could go back to last year. I wish the circumstances didn't get so lousy. I mean, I know this isn't the way it has to be. I know that. And when you know something doesn't have to be a certain way and it is that way, it just makes it all the more sad. Oh, man. Like I said, I know someone will get mad, but I don't even care. It's just this whole thing has just drained me. How many times can you apply for jobs and hear nothing back? How many times can somebody stick their hand out for money while they know you're not getting any income? How many times can you do a stream and like go out of your way to do it at a certain time of day so people can show up while you know that there's still a very strong likelihood they won't show up? All of it's just God. That's what I said. I'm just at my breaking point. We got one more month of this, and I think I'm gonna throw in the towel. And earlier this year, I did accept that. I said these jobs are just not hiring anybody. Many of them have these quotas where they have a hiring freeze. They literally will not hire a single new person. And I said, well, what can I really do in a situation like that? Do I just not even try, or do I keep trying, and as I'm trying, keep putting up with people telling me that I'm stupid and you know it's your fault? Like I just got tired of it. It was just nonstop badgering and finger pointing and you did this wrong and you did something. I'm sick of it, man. I'm tired of it. It's just too much. It's too much, and I'm just too tired. Not even saying that to be funny. I'm worn out. Like I'm probably gonna wake up at some point this afternoon at this rate, and I know it won't be with a smile on my face. I know it won't be with any excitement. I mean, and I have little things every now and again that where I'm excited. Like I did the documentary. Most of the script for that is done, but just like in general, I'm not happy. And again, the internet will tell you, oh, depression is mental illness. Depression is Listen, there's no pill, there's no therapist that's going to make me not miss the people that I can't see every day anymore. Not be frustrated by applying for a bunch of jobs that don't do anything. This is all man-made stuff. It's all environmental. It's all the byproduct of a crappy situation that just stays the same or gets worse month after month and just drains you of both resources and energy and enthusiasm. And I just can't see where this is going to get any better. We've already made our bed in this mess, so into the toilet we go. Anyways, thanks for showing up, Akatsuki Merchant. I'm gonna go do this stuff. Have a good rest of your Saturday.